name is Renate and I come from Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm a massive fan of Eurovision ever since I've been a child, and one of the defining moments of my childhood has definitely been Maria Šerifović winning with Molitva. It was a wonderful time, and we were celebrating for weeks, and it was the whole ex-Yugoslav region truly being united for Serbian win, which is why I think for me Eurovision has been always something that I love so much because I've seen it bring so much joy and so much unity. Which also makes me quite sad that Bosnia at the moment is not taking part in Eurovision. And the topic of my research is actually how can we bring Bosnia to Eurovision and why and what. So I'm not an academic. I actually am a theater student, and this is very much a passion project of mine. The idea that I have as a theater student is to develop a Balkan jukebox musical. But before we get into that, I would like to talk why should Bosnia return to Eurovision? I think it's definitely deeply missed in the Eurovision community, and I really think it's just, it's quite felt that it's not there. And I can sense that it's not just me missing my country. I also think it's a lot of international fans can definitely sense the lack of our presence because it's not just about us having good results. I really think it was a beautiful platform for us to really showcase our culture and our musical scene. Because at the end of the day, Eurovision is definitely not just a silly music competition. It is so much more, and it is a beautiful way to showcase everything that your country is and can be. But the problem that we're facing, besides the financial difficulties, is actually the lack of national interest because the media itself doesn't really portray the competition positively. And it is a big issue when you have a huge lack of national support. I also think it's so beautiful to observe and what's happening in the rest of the region. Like you can see an example of Serbia, an example of Slovenia, how their music scenes have really been growing and growing, and not just in the Balkan region, but also Europe wide. I would take as an example the Slovenian entry from last year, Djokovic, who made such a breakthrough and who showed that Balkan region can definitely be united because I actually had the opportunity to work with them and also to attend a couple of their concerts through the summer, and it was so magical to see how whole region and watching how my generation has truly been united because of the music. And in a way, it's very funny to observe, but in a way I really feel the peace making and building in Balkans is done more each year by the representatives of ex-Yugoslav countries than it is necessarily by our governments, which I think it also makes sense because art always has united people more than politics themselves. So I really think it would be wonderful to have Bosnia also have that. But as I said, there are definitely difficulties and there are definitely a lot of obstacles for that to happen. So this brings me to how do we make that happen? I am not associated with the national broadcaster, BHRT, so I cannot speak in front of them, and I also don't really know what are their plans. Like, of course, I have research, but I would say most of the information that is public is quite outdated. However, I would say that it's besides the financial, it is the fact that I really think um, there needs to be a reminder of people what positives can be. And I really think we have gained a lot by just competing in Eurovision in the past, that it has allowed us to create a much colorful identity, and I think it's definitely has helped us also to connect with the rest of the Europe, but somehow there is always need to connect even more. So, what we have done and what we're trying to do actually is to, our main focus would actually be to regain the national interest. But as in a real spirit of Eurovision, it is actually, we need the whole Europe holding hands by hands to really make that happen in a way that there is definitely need of a support, because as of now we're quite left on our own to solve this issue of not just finances but everything, and then bam, return to Eurovision, which I don't think is possible. So it is, I'm very happy that there is events such as these, that I get to talk to you and meet you, and hopefully we can collaborate and really make this happen. So I am actually producer, and I have a production company back home. It's a very recently something that became official, and our name is Fix Idea, or Fixed Idea. So the topic of my research is also very much related to what my production house does, and it's basically fulfilling the fixed ideas. And one of the biggest fixed ideas one can have is actually trying to bring your country back to Eurovision. We want to develop a national format of competition, and that is a goal that we have for next year. We are in touch with a lot of the people who, not just in Bosnia but also in the region, who are in one way or another connected with the competition. So we are trying to do considerable steps. Also, we are quite much wanting to remind the public of the beauty and of wonderful, wonderful things and aspects that Bosnian scene has, and that should be shared not just within the Bosnian borders, but also with the rest of the Europe. And what better way it is than to actually have such a big platform as Eurovision is. So it's a very unpredictable, and it's a very, many ways, mission impossible. But I also think what makes Eurovision possible is all these impossible things somehow happening, having winners that you would never expect, and having performances and songs that you would never hear or got made in if there was no Eurovision. So I really think it's trying to use all the positives that Eurovision has, and the fact how huge Eurovision community is, to truly bring back Bosnia to the cultural scene where it belongs. Not that it's not part of it, but I really think we could have a bigger body in it. I also, we are also constantly in touch with, as I said previously, we have worked with Joker Out, but we are also trying to organize concerts that are, for now, we are mostly focused on the regional artists that are Eurovision, that have been part of Eurovision. But actually, the big dream is to also for next year to organize first Balkan Eurovision pre-party, because those are just as big uh, events for Eurovision as the Eurovision itself in it is. I think I am running out a little bit of time, and I'm much more in person, love to talk in person rather than to camera to myself. But I hope you got a little bit of glimpse of what is it that we want to do. And I really hope you're curious. And if you have any ideas and would like to contact us, please do. We would be very grateful. So let's bring back Bosnia to Eurovision. Yeah! 12 points go to Bosnia.